squared. Peace, love, and light to the family. Greetings. Good evening to everybody in the building. Welcome. Happy Day of the Dead to everybody that's celebrating it today. We're going to get into that about the Day of the Dead. Today we are still in the Day of the Dead. Today is the day of the big dog ancestors. Yesterday was the Day of the Children. We're going to say rise in power, and we're going to give honors and praises to Brother Panic, the Dark Lord, you know? And we're going to continue to have this conversation in Scorpio about life and death, you know? And we're going to all be students and really walk away from this conversation more enlightened about the lessons that we're being taught right in our very own faces every day. I was supposed to do a Day of the Dead day party. I wasn't able to do it. I was supposed to do a Day of the Dead day party. And the playlist was going to be the orchestra of the ancestors. I talked about it 2 days ago on live. Right? The orchestra of the ancestors. Right? Where we play the orchestra of the ancestors. And I promised you that it's music to your ears. DMX, Young Dolph, Takeoff, you know? But I wasn't able to do it. And I hope somebody else was able to do it. And, you know, maybe I may be able to do it tonight. You know what I mean? Who knows? After Third Eye Thursdays, I might be able to go on Twitch and pull it off. But, you know, it wasn't doable. It didn't happen. But it will happen because we're in the month of November. So if it doesn't happen today, hopefully it'll happen before the month is out. Right? Life is finite. You know? But today, out of all days, is the best day to talk about death. You know, every other day, people would be like, damn, Red, are you trying to tell us something? You know? They wouldn't understand why I'm bringing it up. But today is the Day of the Dead. Right? And this day is celebrated not only in Mexico. This day is celebrated in Italy, the United Kingdoms, the Philippines, Brazil, Ecuador, Guatemala, right? This is not just a fly-by-night thing. This is tradition. Like, this is real. You have permission to accept it as real in your reality. Like, this is real. It's really going down. And we not talking about Halloween, nigga. Haiti too. This don't got nothing to do with Halloween. What we're observing with Brother Panic, it has nothing to do with Halloween whatsoever. It's more ancestral, it's more ancient, and it's more traditionally rooted in what is known as the Day of the Dead. And that's something that we all are familiar with because all of us got blood in our veins. That means that somebody in that DNA that's in your veins belongs to somebody who is what is known as traditionally or in textbook terms, dead, but still alive in your veins, in your blood, in your stream, in your bloodline. Why is it so important to continue the line? Because that's the only way that the blood is going to live on in the DNA. So I don't get stuck over there because they showed you in the movie Coco that if nobody is on this side continuing the bloodline, you'll get forgotten about on that side and you'll get stuck in what is known as a quagmire where you'll get stuck in a perpetual state of purgatory. Right? So that means if you're not procreating or if you're not doing the actions in this world to help your bloodline or your blood to flow or your bloodline to continue, you're working against the ancestor realm. And that's from a non-biased, but it's not scientifically, it's not science. This is life. This is higher than science that I'm telling you right now, right? So if you cut off the bloodline, all of the ancestors who belong to that bloodline will be trapped because nobody will feed them on the Day of the Dead, which is today. Today is the day that you play the music of the ancestors. And who are the ancestors? The dead rappers. Who are the ancestors? Everybody else who's not here who made music. Like everybody who's not alive. Like everybody who made music in Beethoven's time. That's the ancestors. Michael Jackson and Prince, that's the ancestors. Play the music, right? That's the ancestors' orchestra. Light the candles, right? And then you put the pictures up of the people who mean something to you and your bloodline, and you say their names, right? And you keep them alive. And you ritually feed them and whatnot, either making them a meal or you put food out for them. Today's that day to do that. And then you also put Brother Panic video on play, right? You put the playlist of Panic, right? You put the playlist of Azazel, who is called Azazel. Let me give you the Holy Trinity so we could go deep with it. If we want to talk occult, because I don't have these conversations in public. I don't get on the internet to talk about a lot of my occult beliefs or my occult teachings and whatnot. That's not even things that I deal with on Patreon. That's a very private conversations. But I'll just give you insight about who the trifecta is in occultism right now. Brother Dawood. If anybody knows about Brother Dawood, if anybody knows about occultism, how about that? How about if anybody claims that they're occult, who is Brother Dawood? Brother Dawood lived in a cemetery. That's how deep he went with it. So when it comes to that New York occultism and that dark shit, they would say that Brother Dawood was the one that carried it in the early days, right? We got to talk about progressions. You know what I mean? We give you progressions. Brother Dawood comes out. He lived in the graveyard. So Brother Dawood just made transition. Then after Brother Dawood, there was a brother named Azazel. who we know as Azariah, who was one who came. He was one of the first Sith Lords in metaphysical occult and whatnot that was giving you that left-hand path and telling you about period blood and giving you that real dark time shit. That was Azariah, Azazel. He just made transition. Remember him? Majid's husband? Everybody in New York know about Majid and Azariah, right? Panic talked about him. He's a Sith Lord, right? He's on the other side. He's on the ancestor realm. He's active. Not only is he active, Dawood is active. Dawood's main op was, is it real? If anybody know about Dawood and about how far back this occult magic, this black magic, this real shit, this real dark magic shit, this real chaos magic shit, this real other side shit, this real left-hand path shit, this shit that the real-time shit, this is some legendary shit that you're witnessing right now. Yeah, Azazel is gone. Well, he's not gone, but he's on the other side. That's what that's the real VIP right now. And then Brother Panic went over on that side. He walked through the portals. He walked through the portals of the... Look, we just had a lunar eclipse. You want to talk about immortalizing yourself? You want to learn? Let's do an Instagram live lesson tonight. I'm going to continue this conversation on Patreon tonight because I do Third Eye Thursdays on Zoom now, right? Since YouTube, right? They killed my channel. They put my channel in purgatory. They quote unquote, made my channel crossover. So I've been in mourning. Because content is king. And they tried to checkmate me. You understand? I'm going to say that again. Content is king. And Alphabet Inc. tried to checkmate me. So now it's my turn to utilize chaos and dark magic to make things that once disappear reappear. But I'll leave it right there. Right? So, Brother Azazel, Brother Panic, and Brother Dawood, in my humble opinion, it's not anybody else that put me up. This is how I see it. And this is what I'm saying. That is a trifecta of black magic, dark magic. That's a power play right there. That is a trinity. Right? Of master teachers, each one of them in their own rights. And what we're not going to do is this thing that they do in consciousness. It's almost like wrestling and whatnot, or it's almost like NBA 2K where they start rating people and giving them numbers. And I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to say is all three of those people, all of them are the GOATs of black magic. All of them the GOATs of dark magic consciousness, or what we call an hour in New York City. We started out calling this dark matter consciousness, or dark matter. It was the dark matter think tank. I'm sorry. We were a think tank. The metaphysical underground. So there's a triad, right? And then we have, I just gave you this trinity, right? This is the Day of the Dead. So what we're going to do is celebrate the dead. We're going to have conversations to celebrate our ancestors as if they were right here with us. So we're not going to go into mourning today. This is not the day that we do that. This is a day that is observed all around the world. In Guatemala, it's called the Day of the Saints. It's Dia de los Santos. Okay? In Bolivia, this is the day of skulls. You know what I'm talking about? In Ecuador, this is the day of the deceased. Right? In Brazil, this is the day of the deceased. It's called Dia de Finados. Today, Dia de Finados. In the Philippines, this is called Undas, or the Day of the Dead. In Italy, it's called Tutti I Santi. Even the Italians is doing Tutti I Santi. You have to know these things. You have to know globally how you are connected. It's All Saints Day. Right? Also Day of the Dead. It's called Giorno di Morti. Giorno. Right? In the United Kingdom, they have Dia de los Muertos celebrations. Dia de los, I'm sure my accent is completely New York and whatnot, and I don't have spice on the accent when I'm pronouncing other people's the names of other people's or the you know, but you know what I'm saying, guys. It's everywhere. The day so this is the day that we celebrate, and every single place that I just named off, there is a similarity, there is a thread, there is a pattern, right? That they're all following, something that is not deviating. And what that is they're all celebrating, right? And they're all, quote unquote, paying homage, right? Because they know that you're eventually going to be on that cell block one day. You're eventually going to cross over and you're going to walk through that gate one day. You are eventually going to, quote unquote, be on that side one day. So it's only right that before you get there, you get right, right? So that's what people are doing on days like this day more specifically. You feel me? So we're going to celebrate life today. We're going to talk about the greatness of life. We're going to celebrate the artists that we love and whatnot. That's why we play their music. We don't play their music and we all in sorrow. No, we play their music and we turn up and we dance. And you know what I mean? And we play the lectures of you know, Panic, and we play the lectures of Dr. Sabi, and we play the lectures of Azazel, and we play the lectures of Francis Cress Wilson, all of them. We mix them in. But if you want to go dark with it, we'll play that Panic, we'll play that Azariah, we'll play that Dawood, right? And there's others. Put beats to it. But Panic is an immortal now. His name lives on forever, right? He goes down in history, and you know, I'm in shock. You know what I mean? I'm definitely in shock. You know, I'm not gonna say this is something, but I have to celebrate the brother. You know what I mean? I have to celebrate the bro. You know, and the best thing I could do is to speak good on his name and speak about the great things that I know to be true. You feel me? And, you know, and that's what I'm going to do. So he immortalized himself. He prepared a whole generation and then some, right? And he cracked the code because he prepared us for the inevitable. And as a Scorpio, in Scorpio season, when all we're seeing is death, he's the one that's gonna help us transmute and transform what we perceived as a negative into a positive. So all of this death that we're seeing taking place during the Jason months, where whole families are getting wiped out, babies are getting wiped out. I'm talking about there's war on many different fronts. People are like, nah, you thought they had a war in Palestine? Check my war out. Nah, check my genocide out. Nah, fuck that. Y'all ignoring my genocide. So they out here genocide dumping on us and whatnot. And we're drowning in death. Okay? While these portals are opened up. But you be like, oh, that's crazy. Oh my goodness. It's so crazy. No. It's ways to look at this thing where you're going to be able to see the quote unquote aspect of, the greatness in it all, the power in it all, right? The magic in everything that's taking place and whatnot. The fact that even though you may see what's going on overseas and all around the world, spirit realm and the spirits that leave this realm, they know who's who and what's what and what it is. You're now gaining powerful ancestors that you need. You're going to need them moving forward. You're going to need them moving forward. The brother left behind a body of work. I'm here to let you know from a personal perspective, nothing online is safe until you own it on your own server. Nothing. You'll just have memories of people. You know what I'm talking about? If I didn't save the content that I was able to save, I probably would be, they wiped my whole channel. They wiped the whole fucking channel. I'm talking about terabytes of 14 years full of content like this. You feel me? So that's a death in and of itself. But this is the death season. And in the death season, nothing ever dies. Nothing ever really dies. You know what I mean? Nerds. So everything is transmuting. This is the great reset. Everything is shifting. You know what I'm talking about? This is a quantum realm that we're in. We're in a we've been tapping in on this quantum quickening. Everything is to be used to your advantage, to be transmuted and whatnot. What you may think is negative is a positive. That's this upside bizarro world that we're in right now. This shit is it flipped. It flipped over, and like Panic said, he's gonna prepare the motherfucking table on the other side because this shit right here is cooked. You know what I'm talking about? And there's work to be done on both realms. At the end of the day, you have a pantheon of powerful ancestors. You know what I mean? They try to call that documentary Strong Enemies that Nick Cannon was trying to come out with. And, I think that the fact that title was so erroneous that they had to fix that. Because you can't have Strong Enemies on Dr. Sabi on the ancestor realm doing what he's doing. That's impossible. And he turned this shit up by going over there. You feel me? So just know that that's about to really start happening.
Yeah.
Peace to the
Peace to the
God.
God. Peace.
Peace. Yo, if anybody, before we even begin, if anybody want to get a link to the show that we're gonna do right now, press put KTL in the chat, and you'll get an inbox, you'll get a DM and whatnot. So you could go and sign up to the Patreon. I believe, it's $5, so you could get behind a paywall and be a part of this epic show that we're about to do. Peace to the God.
Peace.
Yeah, man. How you been?
Yeah. I'm amazing.
That part.
You know what I'm saying? I'm very lucid. Keep calm. Don't panic.
That's right.
Feel me?
That's right. Keep calm. Don't
Keep
panic.
calm. Don't panic. But understand how illmatic this man is. Keep calm. Don't panic. But understand how illmatic this man is. So he's the master teacher that left the illest pop quiz for his master students, right? They are in the clutches, in the throes of the illest death ritual that this world has ever seen.
Right.
Because
Legendary.
the test is a binary one. It's either yes or it's no. It's either you know or you don't, right? So his students were left with a pop quiz. They have to pass the class in order to save their ass. You understand?
Right, yes.
And it's an immediate test. It's not one that's right now. How are you going to transmute the energy You understand?
Yeah.
To change it into what it needs to be, or else you were not in class and you cannot be a master student, so you disqualify yourself, right? But you also prove to yourself that you belong to the land of the dead and not the land of the living. And the ancestors that are here now during the Day of the Dead, right? This is
Yeah.
the day when the ancestors roam the land from the 31st to now. This is when they are here and they came to collect bones. If you are living in the land of the dead, the land of dry bones, that means that you are still in the age of belief and not the age of know. And he who knows that death don't die.
Right.
Death don't die.
Death don't
You know?
die.
And 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 as fly as that shit sound, right? As fly as that shit sound,
Right.
when I heard that my man lost his son and shit, my heart sunk to my stomach. So it's real easy to tell people about these methodologies, right? But I've really been, thinking about, you know, this whole demonstration, especially for me, this year has been about studying death,
Right.
mastering death. You know what I'm saying? Going into the priesthood for specific reasons to deal with transmutation of that particular energy. And what that means to us, especially before we cross the threshold of 50, when you become qualified to become that priest and the door closes. If you don't get in before then, uh, I can't,
Right.
So these are the things that the priesthood did in ancient times and ancestral times. This is what the priesthood was about. The priesthood was who was responsible for being death doulas, right?
Right.
And maintaining the canon of information that spoke about the secrets of death, which also entailed the secrets of life. Because until you master the secret of death, you're never living. If you fear dying, you can never live. You have never lived a life.
Right.
You
Right.
tap out, you got to come back, and you might come back as a
Right.
cockroach.
Right. That's a fact.
Feel me?
That's
So
a
it's
fact.
imperative, right? Based on where you're charting at, how many times you've come back here to do this thing for however many times, how important you consider your assignment to be. You can collapse the wave and fuck your whole bloodline out. We are literally witnessing genocide at the same time. So let me line this up for the family so they understand what's taking place.
Hold
As
on.
only Scorpios, yes.
Not only are we witnessing that, but we're witnessing the people. If what's the name of Panic's lecture? The classic lecture about preparing for death.
How to
How to
die and not
prepare
come back.
for death.
How to prepare for
If
death.
prepared for
Right.
death was the people, it would be them niggas on the Gaza Strip.
Yeah, I mean, let me cook.
All right, go ahead, cook.
On the day of the dead, during the season of death, in the midst of death, right? The master of death dies and leaves his master students or his students with a pop quiz to determine whether they are dead in the land of the living, right? And understanding that death don't die, but it's easier said than done, right? Even though it's inevitable for everyone,
Right,
right?
right,
Right? So you can't even put this on his shoulders. That's what his whole legacy was about. But he still drags you into the test of a lifetime on the day of the dead. You feel me? So this is a judgment upon the community and the people because the frequency of how they receive and transmute this is gonna because a lot of people run the potential of collapsing into depression. A lot of people run the potential of dropping the ball because they don't have a teacher no more and putting down the information. You know what I'm saying? And receding back into dark, like the other side of darkness, which is ignorance. You understand?
yeah,
But
yeah.
the darkness that he represented, it was elite
It
knowledge,
was the light.
right?
Right,
So there's even different spectrums of darkness. You understand?
right. Ooh, check this.
Hold on. Stop playing.
Oh, you got that out. Okay. You're a
Yeah, you
legend.
know,
Yeah, that's for the panic. That's for Brother Pan. You're a legend.
Brother Pan.
Look,
You understand?
Blue, during a time where Net and Yahoo is saying that they at war between light and darkness. So he
Dark.
christened this war that we're all witnessing, right? He said it. We didn't say it. They got up there and said the war that's going on that
Right.
you witnessing, that you watch all of those quote unquote sacrifices that they sent those children, they sending bloodlines up, Blue.
Bloodlines and his babies, right? So who
Yeah.
eats the babies? Hold on. That would be Moloch. Because all of
Moloch.
this goes into pan energy because you're talking about the pantheon of what? Of the dark lords,
Of the
of
dark
the
of
of
the Sith
original,
Lord.
right? When you talk about primordial energy on this planet, and you have to understand the areas of the planet that they are bombing, even though on paper they're called the cradle of civilization, that's the roots, right? But in the pantheon of the information of the history, the real places are the ones that are not getting the press, but they're getting destroyed. So you're talking Sudan, which is the
Sudan,
ancient Hittite
Congo.
empire. You're talking about the Congo,
Right.
right? You're talking about Uganda. You're talking about what's taking place in the whole region. Because remember, Yemen is still Africa. So the
It is.
Yemeni, an African country, declared war on the U.S., and
Right.
nobody's reporting about all of the fighter jets that were scrambling over the DC this morning.
Right.
So it's mad news that people is not getting privy to because they got limited sources of where they get their tap from. I'm getting this shit from X. I'm getting it from Twitter. I'm getting it
Oh
from,
nah.
you know what I'm
My
saying? I'm
plug is
reading
Stu.
everything that mainstream
Right.
is saying. My timeline is lit, and I'm synthesizing. And then there's other sources that I'm retrieving from, and you got to synthesize that to see if you know if that's what you into, keeping a pulse on what the fuck is going on in the world, because shit is moving. It's mad shit to be taking place that they are not reporting, and I can prove to you because I got all the articles.
And if
Hence
you
the
don't
fact.
report on it
Hold
that day,
on.
right.
Yeah, that's why we got these courses that we put together. I have stepped up my responsibility as a teacher, understanding how important what we do as teachers is, because this outpouring of people acknowledging that their lives have been changed by the demonstration that this man has put on, you know what I'm saying, coupled with the fact that that is consistent with the apostles who came out of the initial underground, metaphysical underground. It turns into Underground Railroad. It turns into Black Magic 363, and here we are today. The tunnel that funneled, you know what I'm saying, teachers from the past into the present, and the full synthesis of what that new pantheon looks like from back then to now. That picture that I put
Yeah.
up with all of the people in the pictures, all of them have been disciples of light that have gone into their respective communities and people that they connect with, and they are able to refract light to connect with those people in the ways in which they are best equipped to do so. Panic was able to go and connect to areas, corridors, and pockets of darkness in this country that did, where certain people's light might be too bright. They're like, nah, I'm cool with that. I need a little bit of, you know what I'm saying? My shit got to bend at a certain bandwidth and frequency. And some was coming with the curves, right? Where the Puritans in certain segments of the conscious shit is like, oh, he cursed too much. We good on that. Where there's a whole swell of people that's like, no, this nigga cursed. That's perfect. Now I can hear what he's saying. You feel me?
That was that.
So
That was the blog talk thing where he opened up a whole new lane and a whole new demographics and a whole new audience on blog talk by being panicked the way that he was at a time where people were not cursing, they were not speaking their mind, they were not raw like that, they were not giving it up. Keep in mind, he didn't have to do that on video. He didn't have to go, he was doing that on the audio and the podcast through Blog Talk Radio with him and Mrs.
blog talk.
Blue,
Him
right?
and Miss Blue,
Give him the years.
Blue.
What's the years? This was the years
We
of,
talking '09.
we talking '09.
When we started,
We talking,
'09.
yeah, right around, we all
And
started
him and Miss
together,
Blue, they
huh?
had a him and Miss Blue they probably had a run from what '09 to
12,
2012, 2013. It
12
started
or
getting thinned out.
13. They had a crazy run.
Crazy run. Classics.
Back
to back.
And then he tripped.
That's like for the people that only know the YouTube stuff, the Miss Blue shit, because that was real time. That was real time, nighttime.
Nighttime. He was going crazy.
Feel me?
Going crazy on Blue Show. They was doing numbers that other channels on Blog Talk wasn't doing too.
They was doing YouTube numbers.
It was right
on Blog Talk.
Factory.
With content. There was Cloth Talk.
Yeah.
Hold on.
And
hold on.
Yeah.
They was doing YouTube numbers on Blog Talk with Convo. There was Cloth Talk.
Bars.
I'm talking about.
Bars. Yeah, man. You know, it was a very impressive run.
Mm-hmm.
I have to say this, that Bobby Hemmett is still breathing, y'all. I don't want anybody to miss what I just said and think that I'm speaking figurative. No, I mean really alive. They said that he was dead because the personage or the persona, but the real Bobby is still alive. That has to be said. That has to be noted.
That body,
he's waking up the same way that every single one of y'all are waking up every day. He's eating food the same way that you're eating it. He's seeing everything that's going on. Please know that. Just know that. And just you know, if you thought anything else, forgive yourself. But just know that that man is still functioning. He's just not going to be on camera teaching anymore. His contribution is there for you, right?
Yeah.
Same way that every single one of us who one day will no longer be here, you have to prepare yourself for that. My rites of passage, like I said, the death doula aspect needs to be married to death insurance. And it also needs to be married to some sort of a death declaration, right? That we should all think about getting into before the inevitable that is going to catch up to every single one of us. And we could speak like this on a day like this because I'm surrounded by the ancestors on this Day of the Dead. They're right here with all of us. And this is the day that you have conversations like this. But I want my work, so if anything were to ever happen at any moment, I need to know that certain type of works will be taken care of. For everybody to say, oh, damn, that was my man, I wanted to catch up with him and give him something, I'll make sure that's available for you as well. We're going to do an insurance. That insurance will be activated the day I'm not here to make sure that all of mine is always taken care of. And if anything foul have ever taken place, that insurance is going to ensure justice by any means, Malcolm X style, by the window, right? That's what that insurance will be there for. And it's also going to make sure that every single one of my intellectual properties goes up 300x in value, and whatever market it enters into is going to be connected to my bloodline. Because we're learning a lot about bloodlines right now. We're learning about the importance of bloodlines. What you're seeing take place over there across seas, you're not realizing it because people don't have that type of, they don't have the information. But imagine if the oil-rich families of Dubai were getting, quote unquote, carpet bombed by 400-ton bombs, and everybody around the world was deciding if they was going to do Starbucks or not. Because the amount of wealth and gas that's over there in the Gaza Strip guarantees that those 17 people that got wiped out were they were the recipients of all of that wealth.
Facts.
All they did was make sure 9,000-10,000 people don't get the money when even if they call a ceasefire and 10 years later, that turns into the new Dubai. They just making sure that none of them people get none of that. It's the movie that you saw from Scorsese in real life.
Facts. On a national level.
On a national level. But I see that conversation growing legs. So it's not going to take long before Scooby-Doo cracks that motherfucking code. You know what I'm talking about? That they are over there bombing people who are equivalent to the Dubai people, because those Gaza citizens, once they run them out of there, they high side in that whole land. They even have a whole declaration. They got a whole game plan on how they were going to do it.
Yeah. And in all certainty, you know, the world will not sit still for that. You know what I'm saying? So we're just looking at tears and fissures that ultimately are going to be canyons, you know, and people are going to get swallowed into them canyons. I'll leave it at that, right? But back to what we're here, you know, speaking on the celebration and elevation of this particular energy that, you know, explains that, you know, any and all things are possible in the realms of the imagination. So we got to transmute even them situations. You know what I'm saying?
Right, definitely.
Like, you got to speak a different sort of life into this shit and into what it is. That's what I'm saying. Like, them people over there are going to be punching each other in the face so much that you're going to see the ground open. And a certain people are going to be looking for compassion from places where it no longer is going to be available. And it's going to look crazy. You feel me? Because nobody technically is in control, you know what I mean, other than those who are in control. You feel me? But the people who think that they're in control are in for a rude awakening. Because the planet has a consciousness. You feel me?
Right.
The you know, the people morphogenetically as an entire, you know, we're gonna find out how more connected we are than we are separate. Right? Because as these particular vibrations and this understanding and this awakening takes place, and you start understanding your connection to all things, whether you dap a nigga up, give them a phone call or whatever, we all exist in this bubble together. You know what I'm saying? Like morphogenetically on this particular grid. And yeah, there's a lot of strategic attacks taking place, like I said, to realms that are considered to be ancient and primordial. These are unleashing what's considered to be the underworld energies and spirits, the things that are coming from subterranean realms. The catacombs are opening up, right? The pandemonium or Pantheon is the energy that's being unleashed specifically in these ancient areas because they are destroying monuments, but stargates are awakening and portals are opening. So that whole shit, that whole Cthulhu mythos and all of that, that when these particular realms, you know what I'm saying, into this particular realm, there's really no competition. So, you know, people are really going to be left no choice but to see reality for what it is. But in this particular case, I think that this is a test for the vibration of the community to see whether this shit is going to sustain itself as the energy bubble in the nexus that continues to push society forward. Because it's only this small. It just has to be a nucleus, nigga. Just take two of you niggas to verify that you are his students and he lives. But he can only be the master teacher with master students. You can only be a master student if you pass this test right here, which is the biggest one of all. Can you get over the emotions, Scorpio, water, to transmute this shit, right? That you become a phoenix who burns through the ashes and is able to transmute that for you. Like, I'm going to celebrate him really from a heart-centered place. And we can all tell, right, if that particular acknowledgement is taking place, because you're going to see things change.
Well, I know that I saw a video on Black Magic where his queen, Khadijah, yes, she informed that they're going to have a celebration.
Yeah, November 25th, they're going to do something.
Right. So, right?
All black.
Right. So
yeah, people are going to have an opportunity to participate. And I'm saying, but it's a lot of days to get from then to now. And of course, more ceremonies are going to help, you know, buffer people through and really balance them out, you know what I'm saying? And get back into the teachings and You know, because now it should be a 24-hour watch party. Like study, study, study. Get the points totally down. Like he was a deaf doula. He walked people over to the other side and showed you how to grab your nuts doing it. Like, what are we doing?
Right.
Like, you're supposed to be popping Kragans and motherfucking niggas supposed to be toasting period blood. Like,
Somebody said my mouth is bleeding. No, these are red opals. My mouth ain't bleeding. I'm not Tyson Fury. These are, yeah, my mouth is bleeding red opals, y'all. I got a red smile. My bad. But yeah, I from the observation that I'm making just on social media, I see a lot of his students showing that they are master students because they're not treating his transition the same way that you see regular people, or what he would say humans, act. Like they giving it the energy that it deserves.
okay.
You know what I mean? They like, yo, you a legend. You prepared, you know what I mean? Like you did it, nigga. You a fucking legend. You walked through them gates. They know they know what they see. Like I said,
so
he immortalized it's an immortal, if you want to, it's an immortalized, it's an ascension protocol that y'all witness in real time on how to make yourself a god and never come back. He gave you the fucking blueprint. You feel me?
yeah.
He gave you the blueprint on how to become a motherfucking immortal, how to make yourself a legend,
Right.
a god on
How to
the
immortalize yourself.
How to
He
immortalize
himself with the
yourself.
Day of Dead. And he didn't just die yesterday or the other day. From what I understand, it's been a few weeks, right? But it was lined up perfectly to put it where it needed to be for it to be what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a legendary ascension that cements him as the immortal, you know what I'm saying, that he said that he was, and it showed people how to achieve immortality. You know what I mean? So I'm saying that's a cause for celebration, especially amongst what we seen emerge out of that Brooklyn scene initially with the LIU students that came from the initial first body of master teachers. So again, when a master student becomes a master teacher, then that master teacher goes up to a whole nother level. People are saying, oh, he outpaced Bobby. Impossible. That was his teacher. So he even elevates his teacher in his quote unquote transition and ascension. You feel me? He
Right.
puts him up to another notch because he becomes a master teacher. So he's a master teacher 2X, like Casanova.
2 times.
2 times.
Master teacher 2 times.
Yeah, man. So again, you know, in the midst of all of this, I really want us to see the silver lining because there's a beauty in it all. You know, there's a beauty to death.
Yeah.
And like I said,
It's something.
you know, I hold on, you know, I know how difficult that is to people, especially people who have lost loved ones violently, right? In heinous ways and shit. You know, seeing somebody die peacefully is one thing. Somebody transitioning in their sleep is one thing. Somebody being prepared and doing it heroically is one thing. But seeing somebody do it fearfully is one thing. Seeing somebody do it in a way in which is heinous is one thing. Looking at beheadings and you know, decapitation, shit like that, you know, that's something that you can't just shake off and be like, we're going to celebrate the youngin'. You know, that elicits, right, the energy of revenge where you blank out
Right.
and you doing what we're seeing now on the other side of the earth. That's how they dealing with their death ritual. But my thing is this, if the people who are technically supposed to be the most compassionate on the planet because they are beholders of the covenant with God himself, I'm speaking about, and you know, is it real?
Yeah.
I don't want to be disrespectful, but over there, the compassion factor is giving nothing. There's almost they're making comedy of death. You know what I'm saying? They are making fun of it. They are destroying the delicate balance of what death represents as an institution. They're making mockery of it. But if the children of the covenant cannot express compassion and diplomacy or even know how precious life is, then technically in a religious sense, none of us have any motherfucking hope, right? So it's like, when are you gonna figure out that they dealing in darkness? Because you keep running from the dark, but then you blinded by the light. Where are you in between this particular discussion? Because people don't want to go into darkness to see it for what it is, but you playing with one side of the coin, and you could never possibly win, especially when the people playing with darkness understand the fallacy of light. So you got to get this shit under your motherfucking, you got to get some dirt underneath your nails, nigga. Everything grows in the dark. You got to get over the scourge and the scare of what you think darkness fucking represents, because that's how to see an insecurity about death because of the religious shit. Nigga, you got to understand what this shit represents. It's just symbolism. You feel me? You spook by a symbol. You spook by a number. You spook by a shape. You spook by fucking drawings.
Right.
Fuck up, man. What's wrong with you? And this is what the brother was explaining to you, like, wake the fuck up, grow the fuck up, snap out of it, yo.
Right.
Ye are gods.
Ye.
You can set this shit up the way that you desire to, man. It's your fucking script to write. Stop following someone else's narrative. The war taking place is not even a mineral war. The war taking place is not even a motherfucking, what you call it, the Great Reset war. The war taking place is only the war for the narrative, my nigga.
Right.
Somebody wants to live in your mind and utilize your vessel as a projector for their reality and utilize you voluntarily as an energy source because they got one taste of that shit and they refuse to fucking let go. They like, you niggas are sweeter than bad meat. Especially with you out here not knowing who you are. You got all this fucking honey on you. We're gonna feast, nigga.
Yeah.
Look. Nigga, you looking like DJ Academics and Sauce Man. As crazy as that sounds and seems, still understand, but that's the niggas they following and they're overlords, right? They're overlords. The people that are at war are the people that are purveyors of filth on the planet. They have made riches off of peddling this shit. We've done the research, right? We know that they're following Frankian's information. This shit is not motherfucking, you know, Talmud.
But
I can't even say that. This is not Torah. This ain't the law. Because the law says thou shalt not kill. These niggas are flexing. They're flexing agreements that they have with other nations to say this what permits this person from coming in my borders and doing an assassination on this other head of state. That's how they do their diplomacy. You live in a deaf world, nigga, and you have not figured that shit out yet. And they're showing you what they'll do to babies relentlessly every day on your timeline. You better figure out a way to transmute death, my niggas, because where the bombs start dropping over here.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I said earlier, for anybody that considers themselves to be in school, right? What you're witnessing with those people is the fact that I was watching interviews with young children and they was like, nah, we ain't going nowhere. We riding. Like, you know, we don't fear death, right? They're like, it is what it is. You know what I mean? Then there was another video with an old dude and he was like, yo, we feel powerful because the whole world is against us. And here it is, we rocking these niggas. You know what I mean? And it goes back to what I was saying about, you were saying earlier about what war is, it's about the narrative. And when I say that those people checkmated, is it real? What I mean is Hamas, or however that thing happened, it made is it real play a certain hand that exposed that hand where the world saw that there was a trick taking place and they saw something in their hand that they never seen other times when Israel played their hand. So whatever they saw in this play have everybody like, oh nah, I ain't fucking with these niggas.
Yeah, they expose their fangs is out.
Right. So right. There's a way that you bring. Yeah, there's a way of there's a way of making yourself the sacrificial lamb, putting yourself out there to get quote unquote stomped out, putting yourself out there to be what they're calling martyr. They have a different way of looking at it. That's why I say class is in session. I don't want to hear people, man, that don't got nothing to do with. Look, I study warfare. I study the art of war. I'm studying. This is an AI war, first of all. So it had to have. This is an open air trade show on weaponry. Y'all don't know what buildings are going, what's making them buildings go down, and y'all don't know what's hitting them shits. There's people watching that on a live stream somewhere. Taking there's whole countries like, nah, I need that shit right there. That whatever that shit was that hit the hospital. Yeah, we need about 100 of those. Israel is an arms dealer. The United States is an arm dealer. They shipping all the new shit over there. You're going to see some other shit pop out in that war. It's going to deal with some type of AI shit, and it's going to deal with a robot or a humanoid. Watch. Mark my word. This is Israel we're talking about. So they're upgrading all of their weaponry. When they opening up these budgets, when they say America is sending $100 billion, it's not like they're doing a fucking Cash App wire and whatnot. They're opening up a budget. Yeah. They're opening up an account for $100 billion, and then they're going shopping.
Yeah, those are spent. Mitch McConnell said 28 states out of this country are the recipients of that when they cut that check. For these countries, the countries go shopping with the weapons manufacturers that are based here in the U.S. So they're putting on as senators and congressmen for their constituents, their biggest of which are weapons dealers in their state that employ particular people, and they got all the contracts. So yeah, they just running up the bag on quote unquote on weapons, and that's why they put a moratorium on selling ammunition to regular citizens, because the whole all of these different regimes are buying up ammunition and ammo, right? So they ready to shit is ready to hit the fan, so to speak. Pandemonium, you know what I'm saying? So again, you have to be centered in the midst of chaos. This is what this information prepared you for. This is chaos magic for chaos times. You know what I'm saying? How you can find order in the midst of chaos. And bar none, in my travels, doing lectures and everything, Panic students were some of the best prepared. And they spent the most bread, right? They were the nicest people that I had met almost through my whole motherfucking lecture run. The people that came to his event, they was always super respectful. They always spent a good amount of money. They wasn't asking for discounts. They was living in abundance. They had an abundance attitude about them because they had conquered the fear of death. You know what I'm saying? By not being afraid to go into darkness, at least to see what the fuck is behind the curtain. You know what I'm saying? Right. Everybody don't get stuck over there. And some of them people masterfully work with that energy and transmute it in ways. Some of them are very successful in their endeavors, and they have achieved a level of happiness by not being married to all of the motherfucking spookism that comes with dogmatic religion. Right. Right?
And I could say that.
And poverty consciousness.
Right.
Yeah, because hold on. Poverty consciousness because of the motherfucking the trapdoor of morality. Now you got to figure that one out for yourself.
Right. And as a master, I would say that Panic, as a student, when you arrive to Panic's University, when you arrive to the School of Panic, when you arrive to the Panic Doctrine, that was the cutting of the fat and the trimming of the quote unquote meat, to whereas he was like, nah, you don't need this, throw this out. throw that out, get rid of this shit, throw it, you know what I mean? Breaking shit, destroying shit,
Look,
cutting shit.
Queen Latifah in the whip and set it off.
Mm.
Yeah. Get that CD out of here. Get that out of here. Get that out of here. Yeah, pop that in.
Right.
That's that Bobby. That's right.
So different teachers prepare students at different stages in their growth and development through this thing called consciousness, which happens in stages. It's levels to this shit. So after panic, after you go through the school of panic, then you're able to go through other schools of knowledge and thought and not be quote unquote seduced and not be taken for a fucking fluke. You know what I mean? He gave you a Teflon. He gave you an immunization. He fashions you with a new pair of eyes to see things. And he cut the bullshit. He went straight to it. So his effectiveness, let's talk impact and effectiveness. His effectiveness on a generation of those students and whatnot is what you witness, because he was very effective in his approach to whereas he was teaching applicable information that people were applying and seeing the results in. You know what I mean? And for that, there's nothing, you know what I mean? It's going to speak for itself.
Yeah.
It will speak for itself. And on this Day of the Dead that we are in, I do want to give honors and praise to the whole entire pantheon of ancestors. For everybody that's into fantasy sports and things of that, you should be into fantasy ancestors, because there's a whole pantheon, a whole lineup. You know what I'm talking about? A whole legion of some very powerful beings who know the truth, stand on business, stand on the truth, highly, highly powerful, very, very, very much a part of everyday things. And some of them are more effective on the other side doing their work than they are on this side, where the work that they've done has come to an end, right? Because man is not like a beast of burden and whatnot. All men are not supposed to work until they fall over and die. So I'm going to invoke the name of some of the pantheon of ancestors that are on they're not even on the other side, because they're with us right now. So Dr. Staby, right? Okay, Ashe, and his works lives on through the hearts and the minds of millions upon millions of people who have elected themselves his students and things of that nature. The ideas and the concepts that he brought forward lives in the lifestyle, in the kitchens, in the bedrooms, the living rooms, and even the boardrooms of millions of people. There are millions of people whose lives were saved without getting a consultation directly for him, or even receiving a mailing package of his herbs. Just his presence, just the fact that he did what he did, it immediately made cancer curable in people. It immediately made AIDS curable in people. It immediately made all of those things just completely switch off, right? That's the power of the ascension of these quote unquote ancestors into immortals and whatnot. We got Dr. Frances Cress Wilson, who left behind her seminal work, the ISIS Papers, that it has no age to it. It has no limits to it. It is a living organic testament to the intellectual research that cracks all codes of codes, right? We have Dr. Ben, Dr. Henry Clark, and Dr. Ivan Van Sertima, and Dr. Felder. We're talking the elders from the city college days.
Yes.
Right?
The legends.
The legends.
Giants. Titans.
Right? The Titans who really precede the era of the Bobby and Phils.
Yeah. Slightly, right.
Mm-hmm. Right?
Their predecessors.
The predecessors. Yeah. Then we have master teachers, Baba Alindi, Agi, right?
Right.
We have great ones like our good brothers who made transition, Brother Sekou, right?
Yes.
Brother Clemson Brown.
Yes.
Sister Burke.
Yes.
Brother Big Man.
Yes.
Brother Azariah, right?
Right.
These were akin to Alexandria libraries. Okay? These were the ones who brought the information into our community the same way that Blockbuster or the movie theaters bring entertainment to the world and whatnot. They were the living, breathing libraries that brought DVDs, cassettes, VHS tapes, books, PDFs, all forms of information, and then even video when the whole thing went digital. These are some of our great, 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 great ones who have built the framework of what is known as consciousness to whereas everybody around the world is able to benefit off of it. You know what I mean? So they are part of the immortalized ancestors. You could say some names of some of the ancestors too, Blue, on the Pantheon, if you want to pull them up. I do know Brother Daoud is at work.
Brother Daoud,
cooking.
Yeah. You know, Dr. Africa.
Dr. Africa, the legend.
And it's interesting, you know, that Dr. Africa died during the beginning of, you know, that situation over there.
Yeah.
In the days.
Yeah.
And, you know, he went along with that particular field. So, and it was so unexpected and it left so many questions. It's almost comparison to this, how, you know, the brother transitions in the season of death with all this death going around, you know, leaving so many questions or what have you to people that, you know, their inquiry is, well, what happened and how did it happen? I'm not personally concerned with that. You know what I'm saying? My concern would be with.
It was no foul play though. Just know that.
Yeah. No foul play.
There was no foul play involved.
My thing is the source material. Going back to the last 2 or 3 videos and really extracting, you know, that lifetime message, that information, that resonance, because he was hitting on a lot of shit that was, you know, relevant to the research, you know, in the time being.
Right.
And, you know, I heavily recommended everybody go watch the Preparing How to Die, you know, video. You know what I'm saying?
Series.
It's a series. So, you know, it's the time to research because he like that video he did breaking down the 90s, where he was talking about duality and really he was talking about the brothers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The dualism of the brothers and that struggle and now how that has manifested all the way up into now politically. Because what you're seeing, this is the remnants of Isaac versus Ishmael from 5,000 years ago.
Yes.
This is the vibrations of it and what it has recently manifested into it. So when I see them doing what they're doing to Palestinian children, even the ones in the West Bank that they're brutalizing and they got TikTok challenges and all of that, this is all Isaac Ishmael. This is Israel Canaanites. This is Israel Amalekites, how Netanyahu let the cat out the bag. Ben was saying that, right?
Right.
Nigga, I was saying it before it started when I was doing Bible, when I was doing the Pope Pablo Sunday sermons every Sunday and showing you. I'm like, look, God utilizes one tribe to punish Judea or, you know, the Israelites when they're out of pocket and they're not following his commandments. And then when they start giving him some energy again, right, then he empowers them to destroy the ones that he just empowered to run a play to get them back in line. And that's the game that he keeps playing throughout the whole book.
Right.
You feel me?
Right.
So, you know, let's you know, be mindful of what you're saying. They're couching the conflict and minimizing the names that they're giving you. So as long as they constrict you to this box with the name that they give you, you don't understand that you're looking at a clash of the titans. You know what I'm saying? This is a battle of the gods of that region for supremacy.
Right.
And ultimately was considered to be the Temple Mount for which they need as the the staging site for both of their prophecies, for Christianity and Judaism's returns of their messiahs. They need access to the Golden Gate and the Temple Mount, which is in the east.
Are we going to be talking about this in Patreon?
Oh, absolutely. My bad.
Yeah.
So
talk about that, and let's wrap this up because I got Third Eye Thursdays at 9:00.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, family, I have a 4-week course that is coming to Patreon where, I get in a lot of information in my lives, and I get into a lot of, information that I be posting. But people need a little, they need something that they can study, something a little bit more studious that deals with details. So I have put everything into a 4-week course where it's going to be very collegiate, very, meticulously laid out so you can understand it point for point. You know what I'm saying? It's not just me, just running through all of these points and hitting on things that you don't get backup reference to. So we're going to set it up on a Patreon and give you this 4-week course. It's called Ancestral Intelligence 101.
Okay. You said ancestral intelligence?
Yeah.
That's how
and
you
every
giving
4
it up,
weeks.
Blue, from Bluefield?
Yeah.
Oh, I know that's going to be fire.
Yeah, every 4 weeks, each course is a different AI title.
What's the other week? If you don't mind me asking. Just give me one more week. Give me one more week.
Alchemy Intel 101.
Alchemy Intel? Ooh.
Yes. Right? The intelligence is needed to understand alchemy, how to transmute lead to gold, which they literally just did the other day, by the way. But we're going to get into it. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what this is all about. The transmutation of lead to gold is dealing with understanding the living and the death process, because lead is dead, it's Saturn, right? The cycles of time.
Right.
And, the sun, Leo, that represents life. That's vibrance. That's the energy. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
So, yeah, I had emailed you something. I don't know if you could pull it up.
Once again, family, if y'all want to
live for it, ancestral intelligence.
Oh.
Your email. Yeah.
I mean, I can't share can I share the picture with the split screen?
Nah, not with a split screen. I was about to say, do Instagram still let you share pictures?
Nah, they took it away from me. They took it away from you?
Yeah.
What's that about?
I don't know. I don't know if they changed it in the app. I don't see no notifications.
Yeah, I can't share my pictures no more.
Me neither. That's why we got to take it to class. Cause
well, check this out, y'all.
I could talk to you about it.
Right.
But I think it's lay it out.
Yes. We are limited with some of these platforms. The level of information that we have, we limited, y'all. So the least we start out on Zoom as the basis of where we have to disseminate. It starts out on Zoom. Zoom is private. Zoom is where businesses meet to have private conversations, not on YouTube. So we take our private Patreons on Zoom. The link is available. If you put KTL in the comment, you will get an inbox or DM, and you could sign up to the Patreon. The tier is from Rainbow Opal all the way up to Citrine, right? If you want to be a student. From Rainbow Opal to get you you could be a student for one of the classes, or Citrine membership, and that'll lock you in for 4 weeks. Blue is coming with 4 weeks, and Red is coming with 4 weeks. It's free to sign up to the Patreon. I don't pressure nobody, but I want y'all to be over there on Patreon first and foremost, because it's a repository of information. Every single day we putting something up new. We've been doing live lectures there. I'm doing Melanin Monday. Matter of fact, y'all, Melanin Monday live in Atlanta at quote unquote 3 Milli Studios. And we got a few seats left. Y'all can RSVP. The link is in my bio for that. Make sure y'all pull up Melanin Monday live in the A. Vendors, food.
Yeah.
Huh?
studio sessions. So
When?
at 9.
Oh, tonight?
Yeah. So I
Oh, damn.
got up.
All
Yeah.
right.
But tell them again to drop the if you want to sign up for this course, right?
Yeah,
Drop the
drop
KTL
KTL.
in the chat.
And, right. And,
We'll get the DM.
yeah, you'll get your DM. Sign up to the Patreon. You could be a free member, but if you want to be a part of what we're doing, it's going to be the rainbow opals and up. And for everybody saying that they want KTL back, it's the support, right? Don't worry, the platform will be rebuilt to be a fucking gold-plated tower. I promise you. I'm talking about we are gonna build an all-gold tower, right? With our own service. It's like we was living in somebody's building paying rent. Now we buying a 10-room mansion where we got the lease. That's the upgrade that we're moving to. So don't worry about the fact that we not in the building paying rent no more. That's all good. We already bodied that. That's 14 years. They gonna send us a check anyway. We gonna make them pay for all back rent, all non-payments and back rent. We don't worry about that. This new house though, y'all could be involved in the investment of that foundation right there. That's being built, and that's going to be on your phone right next to the YouTube app. That's going to be on your TV. When you scrolling on a smart TV, you're going to see KTL up there, Netflix, and everything else. Don't worry about that. That's going to be lit. And all of that content, what we call archive, that's going to be remastered, and y'all are going to be able to tap in with that. You know what I mean? So love and light. Nothing ever really dies. Nothing ever really dies. It just transmutes to a better level. Peace, Blue. It just transmutes to a better level. Yeah, tap in. You know what I'm talking about? Nothing ever really dies. So if I were to leave you with anything on the Day of the Dead, I would say that nothing ever really dies. Just always know that. Feel comfortable knowing that energy transmutes. Panic is going to create more panics. There's going to be more students who are going to be, his teachings will teach more people now than it was teaching in the last 10 years. You feel me? The same way when Dr. Sabi, yeah, he was healing a lot of people. Oh, nah, he had mass celebrity clients. Are you dumb? He was already global. People around the world knew him when he was alive and breathing. His life was, he was lit. He knew he was lit alive. But when he made transition, that's when things really went crazy. It's going to be the same thing for each one of us. The day that my last day here, and when I ascend and whatnot, is going to go crazy. And, you know, we will all ascend because it's not how you start the race, it's how you finish it. Create content to leave behind basic instructions before leaving Earth. Create content that is going to exist and is going to live on and is going to teach people even when you're not here. Create content that's going to address things that people are afraid to talk about. We don't live in those day and ages anymore. Too many veils have been lifted. It's time to keep this shit really real and do what's really, really important. And only you personally know what that is. We all got our own version of important. But what I do know is important is that you do prepare for that day, the inevitable. You know what I'm talking about? We all have it. You know what I mean? We all got that duty. So I got to get out of here because I got to do my show. Love and light to the family. If y'all want to be Patreons, throw KTL in the chat and you will get the inbox. You'll get something coming to you and you could go ahead and be a member and join us, you know, and be part of the family. You know what I'm saying? So you don't have to say, damn, yo, I was going to do something for the brother, man. I always wanted to tap in. So, damn, man, I would, you know what I mean? It'd be the guilt that be hurting people the most, though. You know what I'm talking about? Sometimes. It'd be the guilt.
So Brooklyn, 11/11. Nicholas. We will be in Brooklyn, 11/11 at Nicholas. Brooklyn, come out. You know we're going to be celebrating Brother Panic, New York. Talk Black to Me, 11/11. Scorpion season. Art Basel, huh? The album drops. We'll be out there as well. But 11/11 and 11/6, Melanin Monday on Monday in the ATL, KTL in the ATL, live at 3 Millie Studios, right across the street from Magic City. 11/6, come through. Free entry, but you got to RSVP. Link is in my bio. Link in my bio. Okay, KTL, and get your link. Love and light, y'all. Peace.